Now at 9, the city of Pittsburgh considers making dumpster diving and stealing shopping carts a finable offense.
More evacuation warnings as a wildfire continues to spread east of Los Angeles. I'm Jonathan Hunt in the San Bernardino National Forest. I'll have the details coming up.
And organizations gather in protest outside Pittsburgh's new Planned Parenthood clinic.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The city of Pittsburgh wants to crack down on people who take shopping carts from grocery stores and rummage through trash bins. Tonight, city commissioners considered updating 2 different ordinances with the goal of cleaning up the city. KOAM's Melissa Alexis spoke to members of the community to get their perspective.
It's a quality of life issue.
An ordinance could make taking shopping carts off the premises of a store illegal. The director of community development for the city of Pittsburgh says the frequency of shopping cart theft is an issue.
We found that it's more frequent than we'd like, and it's also really difficult for the retailers to recoup that cost. Shopping carts are really expensive.
The city of Pittsburgh is also considering making it illegal to go through trash bins that are not your own without permission.
Others are coming behind them and digging through, leaving trash out. That's blowing down the streets, it's blowing down our alleys. There's paper, there's cardboard, there's furniture, there's household goods.
As a business owner, would come to my shop and I'd find trash all over the yard, and it's because somebody is scrounging through the dumpster.
Community member Roger Lomschek says many people pushing the carts are unhoused.
We've got homeless people who use the shopping carts as a means of carrying around stolen goods, and the carts themselves are stolen.
Mandy Yance, who frequents the Wesley House, says making it illegal to take things from trash bins and selling them would eliminate a way for the unhoused to make money. She also believes making it illegal to take shopping carts away from a store premises would make things more difficult for the unhoused.
They need the shopping carts to carry their stuff from point A to point B. How are they supposed to get it from point A to point B without something to carry it in?
Froman, Director of Community Development and Housing, says both ordinances are related to keeping the city of Pittsburgh clean and addressing concerns from stores that had their shopping carts stolen. Reporting in Pittsburgh, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Commissioners passed both ordinances on first reading tonight. Missouri Supreme Court today rules an amendment to restore abortion rights in the state can stay on the November ballot. Amendment 3 aims to make abortion rights a part of the state's constitution. Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft had removed the measure from the ballot following a county circuit judge's ruling in a case claiming the petition to add it misled voters by not informing them all the abortion laws it would repeal. The state's highest court disagreed and says Ashcroft must ensure the measure is on the ballot. Well, today, several pro-life organizations gathered outside the new Planned Parenthood clinic in Pittsburgh to make their voices heard. KOAM's Samantha Walker joins us in studio with details from that news conference.
The Pittsburgh Health Center just recently opened, becoming the 4th Planned Parenthood clinic in the state. But since its opening was announced, it's faced pushback from pro-life organizations, some of whom gathered outside for a press conference. Several pro-life organizations gathered outside of the Pittsburgh Planned Parenthood location, including Operation Rescue and Students for Life of America. Organizers say they want to bring attention to the new facility and the fact abortions are performed there.
We want to save babies from abortion. We want women to have productive lives that include their children. We believe that women can be productive and successful and live very fulfilled lives with their children at their side instead of their children being tossed away like they're trash.
Those with the pro-life organization say they are also concerned about the center's proximity to Pittsburgh State University and the states of Missouri, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, which have more restrictive abortion laws.
We're concerned that this facility is going to be a regional abortion facility that promotes abortion to women from these states, and we just want to come out here and oppose Planned Parenthood's pro-abortion agenda because we believe it's bad for families and bad for women and unborn children.
When the center was announced, the president of Comprehensive Health of Planned Parenthood Great Plains said, quote, "At a time when access to critical reproductive health care is under threat, we are proud to expand our network to serve the needs of patients in this community and beyond."
And so we can't tolerate this. We can't let this happen.
In a statement to KOAM, a spokesperson for Planned Parenthood called the press conference outside the Pittsburgh facility a, quote, unnecessary disruption to the patients who come to Planned Parenthood for essential, comprehensive sexual and reproductive health care services. A spokesperson for Planned Parenthood says the organization is grateful for those in Pittsburgh and across the region who support their work.
Thank you, Samantha. Well, authorities in Jasper County have arrested a suspect in the deaths of 8 puppies found in a plastic tote outside the Joplin Humane Society. Humane Society officials say the tote was discovered this past weekend in a spot where it was not easily seen. All of the puppies were found dead inside. And now the sheriff's office says the suspect is in custody, though official charges are pending. Authorities also have a person of interest in this case who was arrested for outstanding warrants. Coming up, researchers say many factors can contribute to ongoing low birth rates nationwide, but say the decline isn't about Americans having a less desire to have kids. Coming up, we look at other factors causing young adults to put off starting a family. People with type 2 diabetes are almost twice as likely to develop asthma than people who do not have diabetes. And that's according to an analysis of data on 17 million people. Researchers in Taiwan also found individuals with asthma are 28% more likely to develop diabetes than those without asthma. The study authors say the results suggest that when one of those chronic conditions is diagnosed, the patient should be screened for the other as well. Well, smokers who took up the habit before they were 18 years old are more likely to experience respiratory symptoms in their 20s, such as coughing and wheezing. And that's according to a study presented at the European Respiratory Society Congress in Vienna. Researchers found that young smokers increased the risk of respiratory symptoms by the age of 28 by around 80% compared to non-smokers. The risk was around 50% higher for smokers who started after age 18. Each year, about 1,300 infants in the U.S. under the age of 1 die from sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS. And now researchers at UC San Francisco may be one step closer to helping prevent the mystery killer. In a study that included around 350 infants who died from SIDS, researchers identified metabolic differences that they say could help identify babies at higher risk. Well, the reasons to have and not to have a child are numerous and personal. But with a decline in birth rates persisting across the country, population experts are sharing insight behind what could be causing young adults to put off having kids, even if they want them. Fox News' Ted Linder takes a closer look.
If the children are our future, how bright will it be in the midst of declining birth rates?
Over the past 10 or 15 years, birth rates are falling. People are concerned about that, about the implications for population structure in the United States, for the economy.
The latest data from the CDC reveals the number of births last year dropped by 2%, with the general fertility rate also down 3%, a historic low. While researchers from The Ohio State University say many factors can contribute to the fall, the decline isn't because most Americans have less desire to start a family.
There are some small increases in the number of people who say they want to be childless, have no children. But basically, the number of children people want is pretty stable. It's right around 2 children.
Population experts say many young adults think it's critical that those who become parents be the best guardians they can be.
To be physically present for your child, to be emotionally connected to your child.
But according to Professor Sarah Hayford, the steep costs of having and raising a child, as well as other economic uncertainties and housing concerns, are making young people scared or unable to have kids.
If they don't feel like they can provide for their child the way they want to provide, financially, emotionally, caretaking, they think it's better not to have children than to be a bad parent.
Hayford says it's important to respect people's choices to not have kids, but calls for strategies to make parenthood easier for those who seek it, including efforts to bolster home construction, job creation, and lower child care and health costs. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Well, the Webb City Public Library is teaching people how to make healthier choices when it comes to food. Today, they hosted a healthy eating workshop, the first of 5. This one focused on changing to healthy habits. Each workshop will also feature a certain health dish for people to learn. And today, that dish was fruit salad.
So finding the resources like that and finding recipes, we try to pick recipes. We're gonna do some cooking, different things. Like today we're gonna make a fruit salad. So different ways, to find your resources cheaper so that you can, have good healthy meals with your family.
The library hosts a workshop every Tuesday through October 8th from 11 a.m. to noon. Next week's focuses on food safety and will teach people how to make a chicken, broccoli, and cheese skillet. KCU Joplin today hosted its Score One for Health screening. It's a chance for fifth graders from Cecil Floyd, Jefferson, and Royal Heights elementary schools to visit the KCU Joplin campus and get a health screening. Second-year medical students, supervised by physicians and nurses, provided the health assessments, including blood pressure and physical checks.
It's awesome. It's really motivating to be able to see, have just a little bit of an idea of the ability that I'll have as a physician to be able to make a difference and help my community.
The health screenings were provided free of charge. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, Missouri Southern Athletics announces its 2024 Hall of Fame class. John Dales has those stories and more later in sports.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a nice one for us today. A little bit warmer outside as temperatures mainly into the mid to upper 80s. Plus, the allergies have been kind of outrageous over the past couple days. So if you are an allergy sufferer, you're going to be suffering. This is mainly the ragweed. But you can see on a scale of 1 to 12, today's 9.5, 9.4 for us as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. Let's go outside. Nice shot. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, Tower Cam. We are looking downtown Joplin. Temperature is not bad. 67 in Nevada, 70 in Monette, Anderson at 66. We have Miami at 66, Veneta 65 in Chanute, Pittsburgh a hair cooler at 60 degrees, but our humidity has been so low across the region. We've been kind of sitting in that refreshing to pleasant range, and that's where we're going to sit as we go through the next couple days. All right, looking outside, not a whole bunch going on here. Pretty much clear skies. It's been really quiet over the past several days. Let's drop south. Here is Francine starting to strengthen just a little bit, and it is due east of Corpus Christi and Brownsville, clocking winds at 75 miles per hour. So now is a Category 1 hurricane, which is a weak hurricane, but still obviously is going to cause some issues. Heading up toward New Orleans by midday tomorrow, then we'll make landfall and start to take a northerly turn. So Mississippi gets all the rain, and then it starts to kind of curl back to the northwest, back to Memphis. You can see we're getting the clouds, and this is Thursday evening, and the rain tries to get in, or at least tries to get closer to us. Just never really makes it. It stays across central and eastern parts of Missouri. It'd be great to get a little bit of rain, but it looks like Francine, most of the rain is going to stay just to our south and to our east. All right, let me walk you through time. Near 60 by morning, by noon, sitting into the mid 80s. Once we get into the afternoon, about 90 or 91. Humidity is still going to be low. We get these mid and upper level clouds starting to increase across the region on Wednesday night into Thursday morning. We start lower 60s. Once we get into Thursday afternoon, mostly cloudy skies, especially Missouri, also Arkansas, a little bit less once you get out across Kansas and also Oklahoma, but this keeps our temperatures down just a bit. By Thursday night, rain will start to try to get a little bit closer to Springfield and Branson, but again, mainly stays across southeastern Missouri, so it really looks like we're just going to get some clouds from Francine. All right, 63 in the morning, 85 by noon. High temp right around 90 degrees. Let's go down the road. So we're watching Francine just kind of sit to our south and to our east, then kind of fall apart as we go through the weekend. Very slight chance we could get a random shower. Better chances next week. Let me show you why. Stronger storm system rips out into the northern parts of the plains, and this will give us better chances to get some scattered showers and thunderstorms, but that's next week. 90 tomorrow, 85 on Thursday, 86 on Friday. Staying nice as we head into the weekend, upper 80s to near 90 degrees. Then finally, those rain chances increase next week.
Thanks, Doug. Well, folks are lining up to buy gas, food, and other essentials as Tropical Storm Francine churns towards the Gulf Coast. Fox's Eben Brown has more from Miami.
The rain is starting to fall in parts of Texas and the Gulf Coast as Francine churns northwest toward Louisiana. It's expected to strengthen to a powerful Category 2 hurricane, making landfall on Wednesday evening along the Louisiana coast. Local residents and business owners are preparing for what could be a direct hit, bringing high winds, heavy rain, and of course, coastal flooding.
We're only about a foot above sea level right here. So if we get a 4 to 6 foot storm surge, there's a potential that the store is going to flood.
Power crews are now working to make sure the lights stay on for as long as possible, but it won't be easy. Francine is expected to bring winds up to 110 miles an hour, and a 10-foot storm surge is possible in some areas, prompting local officials to warn folks they could be without power for several days.
It's a reasonable expectation that we're going to lose power for Wednesday and probably even into Thursday, depending on the level of damage that's sustained from the storm.
There are evacuation orders in place in multiple parishes, but there haven't been any widespread calls for residents to leave cities like Baton Rouge or New Orleans, and officials are asking folks to look out for their neighbors when the storm hits.
New Orleans, we know all too well. Our first responders tend to be our residents, meaning our neighbors, your neighbors. So know who they are, know what their needs are, and work collectively.
FEMA says it's standing by to help with the recovery effort as soon as the storm passes. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
Well, coming up, another round of alleged antitrust violations.
Google is on trial again, accused of having an illegal monopoly. I'm Grady Trimble with Fox Business. Coming up, the latest on the trial and what it could mean for just about everyone who uses the internet.
Another Justice Department case against Google. This one concerns the search engine giant's ad tech practices. Now, Fox Business correspondent Grady Trimble has the details.
For the second time in 2 years, Google is on trial for antitrust violations. This time around, the Department of Justice is trying to make the case that Google has an illegal monopoly on the technology needed to place those display or banner ads you see when you visit just about any website. The DOJ has been showing this chart several times in court. It looks complicated, but they're really just trying to use it to illustrate that Google has its hands in every step of the process of buying and selling those online ads. They likened Google's position in the market to JP Morgan owning the New York Stock Exchange. One of the DOJ's witnesses, the CEO of a smaller ad tech company, explained how Google prevented his company from gaining access to some of Google's ad tech. But on cross-examination, Google's attorneys tried to show that his company would stand to benefit financially if Google shared that technology. Another DOJ witness, an executive at Gannett, which owns USA Today, testified that USA Today and Gannett's ad revenue declined while Google became more dominant in the ad tech space. But then, during cross-examination, Google's attorneys referenced his own quote from a 2017 article in which he says, "We are entering a world where 3 major titans are going to be competing for ad dollars." Note that he didn't say 1 major titan. On day 2 of the trial, the DOJ continued to try to paint Google as a massive player in the online ad space that used its power to block smaller companies from competing, leaving publishers with fewer options. Google's attorneys are trying to argue that the reason Google's products are so popular is because they are better. In Alexandria, Virginia, Grady Trimble, Fox Business.
And as hurricane season in the U.S. hits its peak, and with wildfires raging out west, forcing mandatory evacuations, a new Bankrate survey finds that 1 in 4 Americans say they are financially unprepared for the cost of an extreme weather event. In fact, only 9% of those surveyed say they have invested in weatherproofing their homes in the past 5 years. 7% say they've moved to areas with lower risk of weather events. Up next, Joplin city officials finalize plans to revitalize Ewart Park. The city of Joplin has plans to bring a state-of-the-art facelift to Ewart Park. Tonight, community members viewed the latest design plans and offered feedback. City leaders say the new park will feature a splash park, a new playground, shade structures, and seating. The project is funded through the voter-approved renewal of the quarter-cent parks and stormwater sales tax. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Mercy hospitals in Missouri say after January 1st, they will no longer be an in-network provider for those with Blue Cross Blue Shield Anthem insurance. Plus, thousands evacuate as wildfires burn out of control east of Los Angeles.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Mercy hospitals may soon drop one of the largest insurance companies as an in-network provider. Today, Mercy announced the end of its contracts with Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield in the state of Missouri. Chris Bryant explains what you need to know.
For those with Anthem, the possibility of not having coverage with Mercy can be concerning.
You know, you think you're on a good plan, maybe it has a low deductible, maybe it has things that you like, and having to kind of restart from ground zero, very frustrating. A lot of people don't even know where to go.
Mercy says its contracts with Anthem include Medicare Advantage, Affordable Care Act Marketplace, and managed Medicaid plans like Healthy Blue and HealthLink, which falls under the Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield umbrella, all would be affected. The hospital says its focus remains on safeguarding patients and ensuring they receive low-cost, high-quality care they deserve with insurance coverage that provides the greatest amount of protection for their health. Mercy also noted it hopes to remove much of the red tape, making it increasingly difficult for patients to navigate Anthem's system and creating a burden and barrier for patients to receive care when it's medically necessary. Anthem released a statement to KY3 News saying in part, over the next 2 years, Mercy wants to increase the prices it charges our members and employers by 5 times the current inflation rate. Mercy has also demanded contract language that would keep specialty medications unnecessarily expensive when lower cost options are available. Anthem says it has offered reasonable payment increases in excess of the customer price index for each of the next 2 years and will continue working hard to reach an agreement. If a new agreement can't be reached, Mercy will become an out-of-network provider starting January 1st. Matt Timman is the owner of Missouri Insurance Advisors. He says if you are looking at changes, it's important to speak with someone local.
You just have to talk to someone who knows what they're doing, who's in the space every single day, who can give you the proper guidance for this area specifically, for Southwest Missouri.
For those who live in an area like Springfield, there are options, but those in rural areas may need to seek advice when it comes to the future with their health insurance provider.
If you're in Aurora, Missouri, or Mount Vernon, or wherever you are, and all that there is a Mercy clinic, or maybe on the other side of that, maybe all that there is a Cox clinic, your insurance dropping out of that network, I mean, you might have to get your kids to go drive you somewhere now.
Now, this is just for Mercy patients in Missouri right now. For Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield patients in Kansas, Mercy will still be accepted as an in-network provider after January 1st. Well, the Parsons, Kansas Police Department arrested a man in a kidnapping case. Authorities on Sunday responded to a robbery at a room at the Canterbury Inn, where they say a suspect with a yellow bandana and an AR-style rifle stole nearly $500 and a set of car keys and kidnapped a woman. The suspect was later found at a home on Durr Street where the victim was rescued. Official charges have not yet been filed. And authorities in Joplin say a woman is dead following an overnight crash on I-44. It happened around 3 this morning near mile marker 6.2. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol's crash report, the driver, 22-year-old Jessica Chapman of Joplin, was driving east when she went off the road, hit a guardrail, and overturned. She died at the scene. And there are now multiple fires burning throughout the Los Angeles area, and thousands have been evacuated, with more expected to be announced in the coming days. Fox News Chief Correspondent Jonathan Hunt has more from the San Bernardino National Forest.
Fire crews here in Southern California are scrambling to get containment of the so-called line fire. It's burned through more than 26,000 acres so far, threatening some 38,000 structures. It's one of dozens of wildfires burning out west, which spread rapidly after a record-breaking heat wave brought triple-digit temperatures and dry conditions. But the area is beginning to cool down today, allowing firefighters to make some progress.
As long as the heat and the weather helps,
that containment line will grow.
Overall, the line fire is only about 5% contained, and more evacuations were issued for the areas in and around San Bernardino National Forest, about 70 miles east of Los Angeles. So far, about 6,000 people have been forced to leave their homes, but many chose to stay behind, taking a wait-and-see approach.
If the air quality stays the way it is and we don't see the flames coming over the ridge, we'll probably stay. But if we're seeing flames and the air gets bad, we're probably going to head down.
Local law enforcement now out in force in those evacuated areas, promising to protect people's homes until the fire is contained.
Law enforcement officers and the National Guard are going to treat your homes just like we treat our own homes. If anybody comes out, attempts to loot in this county, they will be arrested and they will be prosecuted.
Temperatures are expected to dip by anything from 10 to 15 degrees tomorrow. That will certainly be a help to firefighters. In the San Bernardino National Forest, Jonathan Hunt, Fox News.
SpaceX's latest mission, a bold and risky trek to conduct the first commercial spacewalk, just took flight. Later in the show, we check in on the mission.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a nice one for us today. A little bit warmer outside as temperatures mainly into the mid to upper 80s. Plus, the allergies have been kind of outrageous over the past couple days. So if you are an allergy sufferer, you're going to be suffering. This is mainly the ragweed, but you can see on a scale of 1 to 12, today's 9.5, 9.4 for us as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. Let's go outside. Nice shot. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, Tower Cam. We're looking downtown Joplin. Temperature is not bad. 67 in Nevada, 70 in Monette, Anderson at 66. We have Miami at 66, Veneta 65 in Chanute, Pittsburgh a hair cooler at 60 degrees, but our humidity has been so low across the region. We've been kind of sitting in that refreshing to pleasant range, and that's where we're going to sit as we go through the next couple days. All right, looking outside, not a whole bunch going on here. Pretty much clear skies. It's been really quiet over the past several days. Let's drop south. Here is Francine starting to strengthen just a little bit, and it is due east of Corpus Christi and Brownsville, clocking winds at 75 miles per hour. So now is a Category 1 hurricane, which is a weak hurricane, but still obviously is going to cause some issues. Heading up toward New Orleans by midday tomorrow. Then we'll make landfall and start to take a northerly turn. So Mississippi gets all the rain, and then it starts to kind of curl back to the northwest, back to Memphis. You can see we're getting the clouds, and this is Thursday evening. And the rain tries to get in, or at least tries to get closer to us, just never really makes it. It stays across central and eastern parts of Missouri. It'd be great to get a little bit of rain, but it looks like Francine, most of the rain is going to stay just to our south and to our east. All right, let me walk you through time. Near 60 by morning, by noon, sitting into the mid 80s. Once we get into the afternoon, about 90 or 91. Humidity is still going to be low. We get these mid and upper level clouds starting to increase across the region on Wednesday night into Thursday morning. We start lower 60s. Once we get into Thursday afternoon, mostly cloudy skies, especially in Missouri, also Arkansas, a little bit less once you get out across Kansas and also Oklahoma, but this keeps our temperatures down just a bit. By Thursday night, rain will start to try to get a little bit closer to Springfield and Branson, but again, mainly stays across southeastern Missouri, so it really looks like we're just going to get some clouds from Francine. All right, 63 in the morning, 85 by noon. High temp right around 90 degrees. Let's go down the road. So we're watching Francine just kind of sit to our south and to our east, then kind of fall apart as we go through the weekend. Very slight chance we could get a random shower. Better chances next week. Let me show you why. Stronger storm system rips out into the northern parts of the plains, and this will give us better chances to get some scattered showers and thunderstorms, but that's next week. 90 tomorrow, 85 on Thursday, 86 on Friday. Staying nice as we head into the weekend, upper 80s to near 90 degrees. Then finally, those rain chances increase next week.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up in sports, Missouri Southern Athletics announces its 2024 Hall of Fame class. Plus, Carthage High School softball hosts Kickapoo. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
The race for the Central Ozark Conference title is going to be especially tough this year in softball. We're just a couple weeks into the 2024 season, and several of our local teams are off to a great start. Now, yesterday, we saw defending conference champ Neosho shut out Seneca. Carthage softball enters the day undefeated. Tigers at home taking on COC foe Kickapoo. Carthage down 2-0 in the third, but Ashlyn Brust hits a line drive into left field. That brings the first Tiger run of the game across the plate. It's 2-1. She hustles into second. Later in the frame, they're not finished. Lottie Youngblood at the plate. She also knocks one into left field. That gets down. Brust hustles home, and we're tied at 2. However, Kickapoo jumps back in front, brings a 4-2 lead into the final inning. This RBI single is part of a 3-run seventh. Carthage enters its final at bat, down 7-2. Tigers still rally though. Youngblood, again, this time she goes the other way into right field. They get some traffic on the base paths. Still bottom 7. Older sister Lexi Youngblood hits one sharply to left. That's through. That scores a run. The Tigers push across 3 in the 7th, but it's not enough. Kickapoo wins it 7-5, final score. Busy day of softball throughout the rest of the COC. Webb City wins big. Cardinals improved to 8-1 on the season with a 12-2 victory over Lebanon. That game goes just 6 innings. Joplin High School softball also wins today. Eagles beat Glendale 5-2. They face Carl Junction tomorrow. A couple more games of note over in the Big 8 Conference. McDonald County picks up its second win of the season. Mustangs beat Seneca 12-4 at home. Monette gets its first win tonight. The Cubs score 11 runs in a home victory over Aurora. Their next game is Thursday on the road at Nevada. Well, Missouri Southern Athletics announces today it has a new Hall of Fame class that will get inducted next month. That includes 2 student athletes and 2 teams. Here's a look at the Lions Athletics 2024 Hall of Fame class. It includes Larry Barnes, a Lion running back on the football team in the late 70s. He holds several records, including average yards per rush and most career touchdown catches by a running back. Arlie Smith is a 5-time MIAA champion in multiple track and field events. Then the 2009 women's cross country team, who won their 4th consecutive MIAA championship and took 3rd at the national championships that year, along with the 1974-75 women's basketball team. That was the first Lions women's athletic team. That's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
The SpaceX Polaris Dawn crew has lifted off. The Crew Dragon spaceship blasted off this morning on a mission to conduct the first ever commercial spacewalk. Fox News senior correspondent Jonathan Surrey is in Cape Canaveral, Florida with the latest.
Polaris Dawn lit up the pre-dawn sky over Florida's Space Coast as 4 private astronauts riding in a SpaceX Dragon spacecraft launched into space riding atop a powerful Falcon 9 rocket. The 5-day mission will take the 4 private space travelers into an elliptical orbit that will take them 3 times higher than the International Space Station and the farthest humans have traveled from Earth since the Apollo moon missions more than half a century ago. On day 3 of the mission, Thursday, billionaire entrepreneur Jared Isaacman and SpaceX engineer Sarah Gillis will venture outside the capsule to attempt the very first commercial spacewalk. Because the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft has no airlock, the capsule will be completely depressurized during the spacewalk, so all 4 crew members will be wearing SpaceX's new streamlined EVA suits, the first time they've ever been put to the test in the vacuum of space.
If we are to unlock this last great frontier and people are going to venture out in space, which, by the way, whatever risks associated with it, it is worth it. We have no idea what it could do to really, again, change the trajectory of humankind.
At the end of the 5-day mission, Polaris Dawn will splash down in the Atlantic or the Gulf of Mexico, depending on weather. In Cape Canaveral, Florida, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Well, the real Slim Shady is set to open the 2024 MTV Video Music Awards. Details coming up in Hollywood Nation. A rap icon returns to the MTV Video Music Awards stage, and celebs line up to celebrate TV's biggest night. Here's Fox's Kristen Goodwin with the latest in the Hollywood Nation.
It's a battle.
Paulson leads, Eminem opens, and stars present in the Hollywood Nation. The Television Academy and ABC announced their star-studded list of presenters for the 76th Emmy Awards. The celebs taking the stage on TV's biggest night combined previous nominees and winners, as well as this year's hopefuls, including Selena Gomez, Christine Baranski, and Matt Bomer. Father-son duo Dan and Eugene Levy will host the ceremony, airing live from Los Angeles, September 15th.
VMA breaking news.
Speaking of award shows, MTV revealed Eminem will return to intro the 2024 Video Music Awards. He last opened the ceremony in 2010 and performed with Snoop Dogg in 2022. The rap icon will give his first TV performance from his new album, The Death of Slim Shady. The award show will be hosted by Megan Thee Stallion and airs live from New York's UBS Arena Wednesday. Jennifer Hudson will kick off the festive season early this year. The EGOT winner is releasing her first holiday album, The Gift of Love, October 18th. It will feature original songs as well as her versions of favorite classics, including the Christmas song, Oh Holy Night, Winter Wonderland, and Jingle Bells.
Keep the house sealed best you can.
Sarah Paulson goes back in time in today's First Looks. The award-winning actor leads the thriller Hold Your Breath, playing a woman in 1930s Oklahoma who believes an evil presence is threatening her family. The film premieres on Hulu October 3rd.
He could be anywhere.
In Hollywood, Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
And that is our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of seals enjoying football treats at the Chicago Zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.